everybody. Welcome to Alpha 18 of Prison Architect. It has been approximately a month since we released Alpha 17. So we're ready to hit you with a load of brand new, cool and interesting features,
Nice.
I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so the major new feature this time round then, we've been looking at reforming your prisoners. Right? It's a pretty major topic in the real world. It's a pretty contentious issue.
Yeah.
And right now you can make prisons in Prison Architect that do a pretty good job of locking up prisoners and either intimidating them into submission or putting them to work in factories or whatever. But you don't really have any chance of reforming them.
It's all a bit bleak and nasty, isn't it?
Yes. So, and, most prisoners are going to get out of jail at some point in their life.
By far.
And, some people believe that if you attempt to reform prisoners by giving them skills, trade skills, education, helping them kick their drug habits and so on, then they will have a better chance of finding employment and getting back into society, right? Rather than going back to a life of crime. So in Prison Architect, I started work on a brand new reform programs system.
Is it called codename Pink and Fluffy?
No, it's called
Pink and Fluffy prisoner hugging.
Reform programs, right? So I've got this new tab in the reports list, right, called programs. And here's the list of reform programs that we currently support.
Okay.
Right? And there's only one. They're all they're not always available in your prison. Right? Not all of them are available at the start. So at the moment, there's only one available, which is behavioural therapy.
Mate, that's just sent a shiver down my spine. That is so Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't involve forcing them to listen to classical music or anything like that.
Behavioural adjustment, behavioural therapy. Oh, dear.
So the way this works, right, is that you can run this thing. It costs you $200 per session, right? There's a cost per session. And you can see here it says that it's a one-on-one thing, right? So there's only one inmate at a time and who does this behavioural therapy. And it's done with your psychologist. Right. So we already have a psychologist. Here he is.
He looks like you.
He does look a bit like me, doesn't he? I need to make currently this area is staff only because it's the administrator's offices. So I actually need to make it not staff only so that prisoners can get there.
Right.
So there's immediately a bit of a security issue because you're going to want to have let me just shut that up. You're going to want to have easy access to the psychologist's office, right?
Yeah.
But as we all know from our deployment, from our contraband screen, various things can be stolen from offices.
That's right.
So, in our programs window, let's create a session of behavioural therapy. There it is.
Can I make a request?
Yeah, sure.
You shouldn't be able to have a psychologist's office until there's a couch in it. That should be one of the requirements.
You mean like a wide sofa?
Yeah, a long sofa. You never do anything I ask you to do.
There you go. I'll put a wide sofa in. What do you want?
That's good, but it should be a requirement. You know when it says this room needs a toilet to be a cell?
Yeah.
Psychology. Anyway, let's skipping over that. I'm always ignored, the world. He never does anything I ask him to.
So what I've done then is I've created one session for behavioural therapy that runs from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's a 2-hour session. Right?
Okay.
And where is our student? So our student will head there around 8:30, right? So it's 8:30 now.
So that's one session, so that means one student. You're calling him student, are you?
It's a code word. They're not really a student, but it's the nearest general term. So here he is.
Okay,
here is our guy. Who is he?
Yeah.
Fernando Cordoba.
What do we know about Cordoba?
The
small banana republic town. Convicted of corruption after using public funds for his Lego kit.
For his Lego collection.
I'm telling you, no amount of therapy is going to be able to put Cordy back on the straight and narrow.
Right, well, we're going to try. Okay, so here we go.
Okay, let's try.
Here's our behavioural therapy underway, right? Our psychologist is performing behavioural therapy upon him now.
Right, okay.
And that's the long and short of it. Right?
Okay.
Not a lot's going to happen for a long time. It takes a while, right? It even says it says in the tooltip, you need 5 sessions to complete a behavioural therapy course. Right? Each session is 2 hours long, so that's going to take 5 days to figure that out. To finish that program, and there's no guarantee that it'll have any effect by the end.
Right.
There's a chance. There's a chance that it will have an effect, and it's based on how receptive the prisoner is to the idea. In the case of a psychologist program, it's not an especially high chance that it'll work, but if it does work, you can take an inmate who is normally very violent and kicks off all the time, and make him quite a bit less violent and kick off a lot less of the time. It's like you're giving him the tools to to de-escalate a violent situation, right?
Yeah, okay. Sort of an anger management thing.
Yeah, so the only people that get referred to psychologists, you can't just do it, like you can't just put anyone in there. They're referred to the psychologist if they've acted violently within your prison.
Right.
All right, so if they've attacked a guard or they've smashed up their cell in violence or something, they'll be referred to the psychologist and they'll go and do some anger management.
And what does that do? Does that affect his underlying traits?
It doesn't affect his underlying traits. It affects his boiling point. Do you remember the thermometer?
Oh, yeah, okay, I remember.
Okay. So a successful psychologist anger management course will, oh dear, I'm just opening windows all over the place, will substantially change his boiling point and make him less likely to kick off.
Cool.
All right. So moving on. This has other repercussions, right? Because obviously psychology, behavioral therapy is only one of the courses, right?
Right.
And there are different types of reform programs, just like there are in real life. So, we've had industry all this time, right? You've been assigning your prisoners to work.
Yes.
You can go to deployment jobs, and you can set up, you can put for God's sake, you can put like guys in the cleaning cupboard, right? So I've just assigned 8 guys to clean the prison. And I could put 8 guys in the laundry to do laundry, right? Those are all fine. They can still do those. But they can no longer work in the workshop or the kitchen because they have not yet passed the necessary program.
They don't have the qualifications.
Exactly. There are no qualified prisoners to work in your workshop.
Right.
So the workshop sits unused.
Right.
It was always a little bit too easy, right?
Yeah.
I was never that happy with it. I mean, the truth of the matter is that you could get 15 maximum security prisoners could walk through your door, and you could immediately shunt them into the workshop and get them stamping out machines and working on circular saws and stuff.
Right.
It's like, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is you unlock prison labour just like you did before. I'll just cheat. And now, once you've unlocked prison labour, you'll get these new courses that they can do. Workshop safety induction.
Right. It's a modern world we
Safety
live in,
first.
isn't it?
Inmates must pass this course before they are permitted to work in the workshop. Right. So that sounds useful, doesn't it? So this is a broad program. This is a voluntary program. Right. So there are 22 prisoners who are currently expressing an interest out of 103 prisoners in your prison.
In the safety first.
Yeah, they're expressing an interest to work in the workshop because living in a prison is pretty boring. And they'd probably quite like to. So let's start up some workshop safety inductions. Now, you don't have to just create one. I just made one with behavioural therapy. That's 9 till 11, right? So I can just create a bunch of them and fill the whole day up with them. 9 till 11, 3 till 5, 5 till 7, 7 till 9.
And how do you assign prisoners or students to them?
They're auto-assigned. So, it said previously there were 22 interested prisoners.
Okay, yeah.
12 of them have already been assigned. So I can, in this interface, this is like a sort of top-level summary. I can highlight these boxes which represent prisoners that are assigned. And it tells me which prisoners are actually on the course. Okay, so I was explaining then, these guys are currently doing the reform program, right? They're currently doing their workshop training, right? Their workshop safety induction. And you can see that there's these red lines, right? That are coming across. That represents the overall progress of your class. So the workshop safety induction it tells you the details here. You can have 5 people maximum and they have to complete 2 sessions and each one's 2 hours long. After which they have a chance to pass. Their chance to pass will be very high, right? For a workshop safety induction, unless you just don't turn up, you're going to pass. And once they've done it, they'll be free to work in the workshop.
So your motivator is twofold then. One would be to increase their boiling point and thus reduce the chance they're going to offend. And the other one might be just to turn out cabinets and make money.
Correct. In the case of a workshop, it's a factory. Your primary motivation is to turn out profitable objects. It gives them a small bonus to their chance that they will commit crime within the jail. But until you do it, no one can work in your workshop. And the same is true of the kitchen, right? There's an equivalent one which is called kitchen safety and hygiene, which is the same thing and is taught by one of the chefs. So one of the chefs will just stop cooking and teach your prisoners. Right. Now, we keep track of this stuff. So if we click on these guys who completed the workshop program, there's their bio. Daniel Dublake, some funny names, don't we?
Yeah.
You'll see there's a new tab, experience.
Ooh.
Let's click on that bad boy.
Click on that bad boy.
Right, now there's a lot of new information here. But down here we've got the reform program history, and here is the workshop safety induction program
I see.
that they completed. So as they do more programs, if they do an anger management course and they pass, it'll appear in here. If they fail, it'll appear in here as well. Right.
What's this activity, mood, and condition? Is that
right?
New?
This is all new. This entire tab is new.
Yeah.
So on top of what programs they're, on top of which programs they have completed, we're also recording more general stats about what their life within your prison has been like.
Right.
So at any time you can look at a prisoner, right, this guy say, and it tells you, oh, look at that, he needs the toilet, he needs some exercise, and he's down to see his family. But that's just a snapshot. Right?
Yeah, okay.
This, I've got to stop doing that. This is an amalgamated view of their time within your prison.
I see.
So they've been in your prison, this guy's been in for 13 hours now. And this is what he's done for those 13 hours.
How has he been in for 13 hours and served 3.2 years?
Because it only starts recording from the point at which you run Alpha 18 onwards.
Okay.
So none of this data was recorded until now, right? Which is why all of their times are going to be 13 hours.
Okay, yeah.
Or thereabouts. So let's find a good example. Here we go. So this guy has spent this fraction, 40% or so, doing things associated with the regime, which means eating, having a shower, exercising in the yard. He spent a quarter of his time working. He spent a little bit of time in a class.
Right.
We happen to know that he was learning... I've got to stop clicking that off. We happen to know that he was learning all about how to operate workshop safety equipment. Right?
Yeah, okay.
And that much free time. So it gives you a summary. It's just summary information about what he's been doing. His mood, right? It's a simplification, right? But I categorize their mood at each moment into bad, good, or normal.
Okay.
Or bad, good, or neutral.
Yeah.
Right? And it just gives you a summary of whether they've been pissed off the whole time they've been in your jail, or whether they've been, perfectly content. They're never really in a good mood.
Yeah.
It's more like, they're content. They feel well treated.
Yeah, I think there probably are days though when you're in prison and you're in a good mood.
I imagine.
It's one of these weird parts of the human condition, isn't it?
Yeah. And similarly, there's a marker for their condition.
Yeah,
now, at the moment, there's not a lot that goes into condition. You remember last time I was telling you that if you put armed guards everywhere, they'll be suppressed.
Yeah,
heavily.
okay.
So suppressed is a condition.
Right.
So if they're suppressed all the time,
right,
because there's armed guards everywhere, then this will be full of suppressed. Right? And if they're unconscious or knocked out or critically injured, that'll appear in this list as well.
Right.
I should mention that, you remember I was saying earlier that some of these programs are voluntary.
Yeah.
Workshop safety, and so on, kitchen safety. The number of prisoners that are interested in volunteering is strongly dependent on their mood.
Right, yeah, okay.
If they're heavily suppressed, because there's armed guards everywhere, or they've spent all day in solitary confinement,
they're not going to want to do it.
They're not going to be interested in taking part in any reform programs, because why the hell should they?
Yeah.
So your prisoners won't even volunteer for these programs unless things are running at least a reasonable standard. Right. So what else can we do? Well, under bureaucracy, we can unlock education.
Ooh.
Now this is getting meaty.
This is good.
Right. So I'm going to cheat and I'm going to unlock education.
Right.
There we go. So normally your warden would research that and it would take a while. Cost you $2,000. So here it is, classroom.
Yeah.
Let's skip that out. Let's shorten their yard. And utilities, that's all fine. A classroom needs to have some school desks and an office desk for the teacher. Right. So we've got some new stuff. School desks.
Content.
There we go. There's some school desks.
Yeah, good.
That should be about right. And an office desk for the teacher up the front.
Lovely.
Now, in order to run our education program, it's kind of the same. We go into the system. Those workshop safety inductions are still running. The psychology thing's still running, but you'll see we've got a new one. Foundation education. Now, did you know that a tremendous number of prisoners in the UK and in other countries don't even have like the most basic education? I'm talking about
surprise me.
I'm talking about reading and writing, and basic mathematics. Right? Yeah, that's what this is. What you and I would call primary school education.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the Americans call it.
Do they call it grade school? Maybe.
Yeah, like the stuff that you do before you're 10, basically.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what this is. Many inmates lack even a basic foundation in reading, writing, and math skills. So we're getting quite high level now, right? This is the sort of thing that's not quite as easy to pass as a workshop safety induction.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So let's create it. So 22 prisoners have expressed an interest. That's an ironically similar number.
Yeah.
Right, there it is. Now this is a broad number of. You can fit a lot more people in these classes, right? You can have up to 20 prisoners at once.
Okay.
In a foundation education program.
Okay.
I'm going to create a few and fill up the day.
Yeah.
In fact, if I put more...
Look, you've got little shifts running.
Yeah, so 9 till 12, 3 till 6,
3-hour
6 till
shifts,
9.
yeah.
A prisoner will only be in one shift, right? He won't keep coming back.
Yeah.
So he can only do one lesson in a day on a topic.
Okay.
I'm going to put even more chairs in just so that there's...
Well, they won't even be able to walk around the chairs now.
They'll have to clamber over the desks. Now, foundation education program is taught by a teacher, right? But there's no teacher staff member in the game, right? You don't have a teacher in your jail. So teachers actually come in externally. Right? They come from the outside world. They're like freelance teachers that are called in to run your cost. Yeah, and this happens, right? People volunteer their time to run these programs.
Yeah.
So it costs you $300 per session.
Wow.
Right? And a prisoner has to do 10 sessions, right, to get through this course.
Wait, that's like $3,000 a prisoner.
Not quite. It's $3,000 for 20 prisoners.
Oh, I see. $300 per session.
It costs $300 to run a session, whether there's one prisoner in there or 20.
Gotcha.
Because the teacher has to come in.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it starts at 9 a.m. So let's accelerate time to... oh dear. I accelerated time a bit much there. So our teacher is on his way in. Where is he? There he is.
There he is. Oh, look at him.
So every morning he'll come in. Now he'll actually, because the programs are running consecutively, he will actually do all of them. Right? He'll just run all the foundation program today.
No way, he's doing a 12-hour day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's on the timescale of prison architect. That's actually quite sensible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Your guards work 24-hour permanent shifts. So here they come, and so you can cram a lot more prisoners in here. And now there's a. You remember I was saying earlier about the psychology of your prisoners, right, being a factor.
Yeah.
You know, it's true in classrooms as well. So here he is teaching his classroom, foundation education. If you highlight the prisoners, it even tells you how well they're doing, right? So this guy, concentration terrible, understanding good. Why is his concentration terrible? Right. Well, it's because
he's got ADHD.
No, he's extremely tired, right? His speech bubble tells you that. I mean, he's got needs that haven't been met, and he's very tired. And because he's very tired, he's not concentrating, right, at all.
This is good, isn't it?
But some of these guys are. So, and also, some prisoners have an affinity for academic subjects. Yeah. And some don't.
Probably the fraud prisoners.
That's exactly how it is. So if I find somebody who is understanding good, understanding excellent, right? This guy is understanding excellent. Why? Carjacking. Oh, that's interesting. Well,
that didn't work at all, did it?
He's clever.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
There's the secret information that I happen to know. He's been done for carjacking, but he's actually a very clever individual.
Right.
In much the same way, some people have an affinity for practical topics, such as workshops or working in the kitchen. So all your prisoners have affinities of what they're going to be good at.
Okay. That's good, yeah.
And so if you look at these guys whilst the program's running, this guy, for example, is concentrating and has a reasonable understanding. Yeah. It actually shows you the program they're taking part in at the bottom of the screen. So this is the foundation education program that he's taking part in. Okay. And that's how far through the course he is. Yeah. And that is his pass chance.
Okay, so he's got a very small chance of passing the course at this point.
Correct, because he's hardly done any of the program. Right, so at the moment, we've actually got loads of programs running at the moment because I've been demonstrating everything, haven't I? Let's load a different level. There's even more, man. There's more.
Oh, mate, it's not even been 28 days in this month.
Yeah, it's been a big month.
Cool, wow.
There's, here's a prison whereby there's currently 6 people doing a workshop safety induction. Yeah. 6 of them have finished it already. Okay. Right, and there's a new program called a Carpentry, well, they're all new programs, but there's a program called a Carpentry Apprenticeship. Right. This is a trade skill, right? This is an advanced trade skill that only
a complex trade skill.
Complex trade skill. In other words, this is not a general education program, right? Only some prisoners are going to be skilled enough to actually do this. Okay. Now, this is a continuation of what we've been working on for quite a few alphas now. Remember the forests and the forestry? Yeah. Cutting down trees, and trees gets you little stacks of logs. Yeah. And your ordinary prisoners can use the workshop saws to turn them into planks of wood. Well, now we have this new thing called the Carpenters Table. There's our
Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not Richard Pryor. I thought it said Richard. It's Richard Pryor down there with a little saw.
So there he is. Right, there's
Yeah.
our guy that we cheated with. His experience.
Yeah, Richard,
so he's
yeah.
passed the workshop safety induction and the Carpentry Apprenticeship,
Right.
and he's now operating the new Carpenters Table. It goes in
Right.
the workshop. You've got to be qualified to use it.
Yeah.
What is he going to produce on this Carpenters Table? We wonder.
I'm excited.
He's going to produce something to do with wood.
Chopping. He's chopping through working. He's just walked past him, whoever that is.
Yeah, I don't know what that guy's
Robinson.
doing. What is that guy doing?
Robinson.
He's not doing anything.
He's just he's lazing, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just
One of these people.
lazing out. So we've got two guys working here. So here we go.
He's making a bed.
He's made a wooden
making a
bed,
bed.
right?
Oh.
A wooden bed. It's called a superior bed.
That's lovely, isn't it?
It's a high quality bed, that is.
Yeah.
And that's what they produce. At the moment, they only produce one thing, and,
Okay.
and a workman will immediately take it away to storage.
Okay.
Right? And what use does a superior bed have within your prison? Well, the answer is in Alpha 18, it doesn't have any use in your prison.
None whatsoever.
It has absolutely cock all use. So after all that, all you can actually do is sell it.
Right.
Boom.
That's good. Well,
$400.
There we go.
You can't use those wooden beds for anything yet, but in future we'll make use of them.
Yeah. Okay. Higher quality cells.
Higher quality furniture.
Okay.
Excellent. So I've got some more things to show you. Do you remember in Alpha 17 we built an armory?
Yes. Of
And
course
do you
I know.
rem-
How could I forget?
Right, and we had the shotguns, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I
Ooh,
alluded to the fact that we had these weapon racks with all this other kit on it,
Yeah.
but you couldn't use any of it yet.
Yeah.
Well, now you can.
Now you can.
Go
All
to
right,
bureaucracy,
brilliant.
and after
Yep.
the armory we have body armor.
Okay.
Right? You can unlock body armor. Now, this
Right.
is an unusual one because it costs you $1,000 to do the paperwork to get body
Right.
armor, but then it will cost you $100 per item.
Okay.
Right? So every one of your guards, once you get body armor into your jail, every
Yep.
one of your guards is going to want it.
Yeah.
And so they're all going to go to your armory and get it. Right?
Yeah.
They have to go to your, oh, for God's sake. They have to go to your armory to get it, right? It's not an automatic upgrade. Right, so let's do that. So what you'll see is, once you've unlocked something like body armor, you'll see a
They're being
train.
chased.
You'll see a
wonder they
train
want
of all of
some
your
body
guards, right, all heading to the armory, say, "Give me my body armor."
Right.
Now there's a penalty of body armor. It gives you 50% protection
Yeah.
against damage, but it costs you 30% movement penalty.
Okay.
Your guards move slower,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that actually tips the balance in them chasing prisoners quite
Yeah.
heavily.
Yeah.
You
I
need-
think that's true as well. It's difficult for those guys running in all the gear.
Exactly. Now, right, so we've got some armed guards, right? Now, the biggest
Yeah.
problem with armed guards, well, what's the biggest problem with armed guards?
They just kill everybody.
They kill everyone, don't they? That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, in light of that, you can now unlock some non-lethal weapons.
Okay. Cool.
Tasers, right? That's cheats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's unlock tasers. Again,
Yeah.
$1,000, $400 per item.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
These are
Not cheap.
These are expensive toys. Right?
Yeah.
So your armed guards go, great, new kit.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Get it. There we go.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got like 8. Are there 3 guards in there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see.
So
yeah.
we've got 3 guards now, and they've got the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty cool, eh? There you go.
That is cool.
There's their
That
little
is cool.
tasers, right?
Yeah.
Should we? I'll do a demonstration in a minute, but I'll continue this line of thought. So
Yeah.
the idea behind a taser, it's a one-shot item, right? They
Yeah.
fire it once, and it immediately disables a prisoner.
Yeah.
Right? It tases them, and they go unconscious. There's no damage to the prisoner, so there's an advantage, right?
Yeah,
And no
okay.
damage is better than dead.
Yeah.
That's the general theme.
Generally is in prisons, isn't it?
Once they've fired it, though, that's it, and they have to fall back to their fists. They'll only
Yeah,
use the taser if you haven't ticked weapons free, right? So at the
Yeah.
moment, they would use tasers. As soon as you
Okay.
click the weapons free button, it's back to the shotguns again. Now, there's another thing that you can do, and this is a bit experimental. I'm not sure about this. You can do a taser rollout.
Okay.
This extends the taser program so that all of your regular guards and dog handlers carry tasers.
Okay.
All right, so that's cheap. There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, so I actually don't have any dog handlers right now, so I'll just
Yeah.
create some of those.
Some of those
And
guys in.
let's put some dog patrols down and some armed patrols. There we go. So
Nice.
you'll find a bit of a queue now. So now all the guards in your prison are going to stop by the armory, right, and pick
Yeah.
up their tasers. Now every one of your guards now has got a taser.
Yeah. Right on.
This is very, very effective.
Yeah.
Right, there's no denying it. Guards tend to get into fights with 1 or 2 prisoners at a time, and a taser is a very effective way to bring the fight to an end.
Yeah.
You'll notice that once you've unlocked them, subsequent guard hires automatically have that kit.
They're coming in with the kit. Yeah.
But it costs more money, right? A guard hire now costs you $500 plus the money for the body armor and the tasers.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So it costs you more. So now there's tasers everywhere, right? And I mentioned it before, but I'm not sure about this. I don't know. This might be game breaking.
Yeah. Okay. But it's in at the moment, so we need to wait for some feedback.
We'll try it.
Yeah.
Should we have a little demonstration of what tasers do?
Yeah, you know what I want to see, mate.
You know what I want to see. You might be underwhelmed, because tasers are obviously not, they're not shotguns,
Yeah.
They're not just going to kill everyone, obviously. That's the point of them. So let's unlock tasers. Let's create a couple of guys. There's our arm guards, right? So I'm not going to give them weapons-free permissions. I'm going to say, no, non-lethal only.
Yeah.
Alright.
Sending them in.
Get that out of the way. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. That's pretty cool, right?
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, alright. Now they're in trouble. Now they need the shotguns, right?
Yeah.
Alright, there we go. So we'll leave.
Now we're back to MBK.
No, yeah. We'll leave those guys to it. So maybe we'll see that again. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Let's look at that again, yeah.
Let's see that one more time. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go, and... Oh, interesting.
What's just happened?
You're not getting updates again, are you? Alright. I'll give you another demo if you like. The third time, right? Third time. Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Tase him. So they kind of get hit by a taser and they get knocked unconscious and they jiggle around a bit, right? That's the general gist of it.
It's quite funny. It's quite funny.
So you notice that I said before that it's a one-shot weapon.
Yeah.
What that basically means is it takes like an hour to recharge.
Yeah,
so
okay.
that taser's recharging, which is why it's flashing.
And it's recharging on his belt. He doesn't have to take it back to the armory.
No, he doesn't take it back. I did do that originally. I had it so they dropped it.
Yeah.
Right. They actually dropped the taser and went back to the armory to get another, but it was a right pain. They were just like, they'd walk all the way across the map to get another taser, and it didn't make any sense. So I just compromised and had it so they put it on their belt, and it's like a battery recharging,
Yeah, okay.
And they can fire it again. And there you go, that's your tasers. So,
brilliant.
A very, very effective weapon for stopping a fight in a non-lethal way.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Right, that really is everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, mate, there can't be any more. There can't be any more. No man could have done any more.
That's all of it, yeah.
In 28 days.
That's everything.
Okay, everybody, that was the Alpha 18 Prison Architect launch video. We're trying to see if we can get more of you on the Facebook page to see if we can do anything about that, so head over to Introversion Software. If you've not already bought Prison Architect, you can go to prison-architect.com and join the Alpha, or you can pick it up from Steam. You'll get automatic updates. There's loads of cool stuff going on, so why don't you get involved?